episode 22 of Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm the host, and today is Sunday, November 16th, 2025. Today's segments include works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, my patterns, and gardening. I'd like to welcome all of my new viewers. Thanks for checking out the podcast, and thank you for all the returning viewers for coming back. You can find me as Knitting Needles and Stems on Ravelry, Facebook, and Patreon. My Ravelry username is Kabammer, K-B-A-M-R. So what's new? We have our subscriber count is continually going up. Once we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to figure out a way to do a yarn giveaway, and I'll find some great yarn to send your way. Me and my youngest daughter packed a shoebox for Operation Christmas Child. It's that time of the year. If you are so inclined, you can go on the website and get a shoebox packed for you, or you can find a local center and that you get a box from there and pack it, and you pick the age of the child that you'd like to pack it for and just put in some good things that they might not have. They go to needy families in African countries. And I've been experimenting more with my sourdough. I have made a couple of pickle loaves. One did not taste like pickle. The next one tastes a lot like pickle but didn't rise like it was supposed to. I've made cranberry wild rice loaves and some chocolate loaves with varied results. So I'm trying to hone in on, I've gotten pretty good at a regular standard loaf. So I'm trying to experiment with some different flavors for those. Now let's jump on in to works in progress. I haven't been working on much lately as far as variety goes because I'm trying to get this Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray. That's my first work in progress. I'm trying to get it finished by the end of the month this month. For this one, I'm using 100 Ravens Yaksha in Starry Night and Apollo. And I'm using beads from Fire Mountain Gems. So here is what I have so far. You can see the gradient starting to change from the purple to the blue. And the beads are the gold color, which the gold color is going to be in the bottom of the shawl with the gradient. It'll go down to the gold, and then when I get down to the gold, I'm going to switch to purple beads. So I bought two different color beads for this poncho. And I'm done with the first chart, and I'm in the middle of the second chart. This poncho has like 800 beads in it, so it's so much fun. I use super floss to do my beads. So this is a piece of super floss that has a couple of my beads on it. I just tie one on the end, and then will hold the others on. And when you're getting ready to use them, you can move them up to this thicker part. And then when it's time to use them, you just insert this stiffer end into your stitch, pull it off the needle, fold it back on itself like this, and then you can pull your bead up and onto the stitch that way. So it works pretty well. I've heard some people talking recently about the Flegel beater, and I'm probably going to look into getting one of those because it sounds like it's a lot more intuitive than using the super floss. But until then, the super floss is my preferred method of putting beads on. It seems a lot more forgiving for different size bead holes because some of the beads seem to have smaller holes, and when you're using just a crochet hook, that can hinder getting the crochet hook and or yarn through the hole. So again, this is the Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray, using 100 Ravens Yaksha in Starry Night and Apollo, and the beads are from Fire Mountain Gems. The next thing that I've been working on is Donnie Bear by Donald Smith. For my bears, I always use just random leftovers that I have left. This is Donnie Bear. He has short row shaping to make his big round belly. And short row shaping to make knees too, but somehow my knees ended up on the back of the bear. I don't know how that happened, but he's still cute and he's lovable, and a little kid will love to have him. He just needs his face. Everything else is all done. The pattern is written so that the ears are made at the same time that you're shaping the top of the head. So that's really cool. Don't have to worry about adding them later or trying to shape them myself. So again, this is Donnie Bear by Donald Smith. Next, I have My Numpkin by Sarah Shira. For this Numpkin, I am using Malabrigo yarn sock in the terracotta colorway, which is an orange. This orange here. And I'm using Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso that I had left over from my Musselburgh hat. So it's this color. So far, I have 2 legs. They have all 3 of the colors. I'm using random white too. I don't know what kind it is, but it's just left over from other gnomes. They have all 3 of the colors, which look really great together. This orange is going to make just a really perfect numpkin, I think. And I have most of his hat done. With Nettle, I didn't block the hat before I moved on to the body, but I think with the Numpkin, I probably will, to try to get the brim to stand out on its own a little bit better. So this is his hat slash stem, and I'm ready, almost ready to bind off on the hat and start on his body. Again, that's Numpkin by Sarah Shira using Malabrigo yarn sock in terracotta and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. The World Traveler yarn has been discontinued, but he has a new line that has replaced it that is very close to the same fiber content. So he still has options for replacing your World Traveler. The next thing that I've been working on is some Fish Lips Kiss heel socks. That's a pattern by Socks Therapist. For these socks, I'm using Mode Knit yarn in the colorway Old Fashioned Villain, which is perfect because these socks are for my oldest. My oldest has always loved the villains in all of the stories. And they love red and black. So this is really just perfect. So I have a toe on one and most of the foot and the toe on the next one. So once I'm finished, I have 71 rows that I do for the foot for my oldest. And once I'm done with those 71 rows, I'll do 71 rows on this. Then I'll do heel, heel, leg, leg, cuff, cuff. And then these will be done too. So again, this is a vanilla sock with the Fish Lips Kiss heel by Socks Therapist using Mode Knit yarn in the colorway Old Fashioned Villain. All right, the last thing that I've been working on is my counted cross stitch. I'm doing Let's Be Magical by Ursula Michael. This one is going so fast. I'm using up all one color at a time because it's such a fun pattern that it's fun yet simple. So we have a lot of the words there. The witch's feet are starting to show up. The black will be the last color that I do because that'll just kind of accent everything and make the castle that goes here at the bottom. And yeah, so this is really coming along pretty fast. Again, that's Let's Be Magical by Ursula Michael. Okay, let's move on to finished objects. Okay, I do have quite a few finishes for this week. The first thing that I finished was Trilusions by Adrienne Fong. For these, I used Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway. And here are my socks. You can see the recipient of these likes short socks. And you can see that nice pattern that shows up really good in this yarn, I think. And on these, this was supposed to be a lace section coming down each of these ridges, but I didn't know how the recipient of these socks would like lace socks. So what I did is I worked on the first row, I worked the regular yarn over like you do for lace, and then on the return row, or the next row, I just knit through the back loop of that yarn over, and it closed them up and made these nice little triangles on the socks. So again, that is Trilusions by Adrienne Fong, using Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway. And the next thing that I finished are the Lexi's Equinox socks, is what I'm calling them. They use the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist. And the reason that I'm calling them Equinox socks is because the yarn is Mustache Yarn Perfect Match in the colorway Equinox. And then for the heels and the cuffs, I use Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Darkest Hour colorway. So here is one sock, and here is the other sock. We went with opposite rainbows for the two socks, so they don't match. They do match, but they don't match. And I thought that the contrast heel and cuff were just perfect. It let all the colors just flow the way they were supposed to. And now, after I record this, Lexi's going to be so excited to have these. They've been done for about a week, and they've been waiting for the podcast before I give them. So, again, this is the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist, using Mustache Yarn Perfect Match in Equinox, and Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Darkest Hour. The next thing that I finished is the Swirling Hot Pad / Trivet by Mita Gerium. For this one, I used Knit Picks Dishy in Lilac Mist and Mulberry. This is the one that I was surprised last time that it started around the outside instead of starting on the inside. But it's so squishy and thick. I think it's going to make a great washcloth, which is what I'm going to use it for. It actually called for 4 strands of worsted weight yarn, and that was going to be way too much. So I just used 1 strand of each, so 2 strands. And that was just perfect for what I wanted. And it's a great size. It's not too stretchy. It's cute, and it'll just be another great scrubbing washcloth for when we wash the dishes. Again, that is the Swirling Hot Pad / Trivet by Mita Gerium, using Knit Picks Dishy in Lilac Mist and Mulberry. Okay, the next thing that I finished is Sprouts Seedling by Sarah Shira. For this one, I used my leftover Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway, and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. So look at him. He turned out so stinking cute. He is going to go along with the socks as a gift for a friend. So, just perfect. I thought that he was just adorable. I had so much of the yarn left over. I still have quite a bit of it left over. I'm not sure. I'll make a couple squares on my Cozy Memories blanket, but I'm not sure what I'll do with the rest. But I just love these little sprouts. This is the largest size on the pattern. And I asked my oldest what the mouth should look like. Look at that W mouth. It's so cute. It's just perfect. So again, this is Sprouts Seedling by Sarah Shira, using Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway, and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. Now I have 5 snowflakes to show you. All of these are made with the thread that I got from my friend when her aunt passed away. The first one is just all these are found by a lady in the Knitting in the Loft group, and she posts them on Saturdays, and if you want to make them, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. So the first one is a snowflake from Pinterest. So I have a link in the show notes. For this one, I used green, sparkly thread. I still have to sew my ends in, and I have to stiffen it, but each one of these, they're so fun to make, and for me, it only takes an hour or so to finish a snowflake. So this one is a Pinterest snowflake, and it has a chart. If you're not used to crochet charts, snowflakes I think are really a great way to learn how to read them, because I never really worked from the charts either until I started doing the Saturday social snowflakes, and those charts are really easy to read. So, okay, the next one is also a Pinterest snowflake, and this one I made in yellow, and I know that there are some warnings about yellow snow, but we're gonna ignore those warnings, and this is just a cute little yellow snowflake that the pattern is also a chart from Pinterest. Then we have the More Fun Trail by Snowcatcher. This one's a little more lacy than the other ones. I kind of like the openness of it. This is More Fun Trail by Snowcatcher. The next one is Half Pipe Snowflake by WordPress. This one's a little, like, it has a little flower shape in the middle, and then these little almost cathedral-like points that come out of it. So it's really cute. Again, this is Half Pipe Snowflake from WordPress. And the last one is also a Pinterest chart that was found, and you can see where my yellow changed colors there, so that's pretty cool. It changed, and it has all these nice little points on it with all the little trivets coming out of it, and just really cute. So this is a Pinterest chart that was found. Okay, that's all of my finished objects. Let's move on to knit-alongs. The first knit-along that I participate in is the Project a Month Cal group. For November, we are doing the Snowflake Mug Hug by Yarnspirations Design Studios. I haven't started mine yet because I work on those on Wednesdays, and last Wednesday I was not home. I don't know what I was doing last Wednesday, but I didn't start on that. So anyway, this is the Snowflake Mug Hug by Yarnspirations Design Studio that I'll be starting that shortly, and that one runs all through the month of November. Next, the Bingo 2025 WIP Bingo and Zimmy's deck has ended. It ended yesterday, November 15th. That one ran from September 1st to November 15th, and now it is done. There's also the Yarniacs podcast group that is doing 2025 WIP Clean Up. So any of your projects that were started before September 23rd count for this cleanup. It runs from September 23rd to December 31st, 2025. I've finished a few things, and I have a few more things that I need to finish, but I don't think that a lot of them are actually going to get done before the end of the year, but at least I can try, right? And the last knit along that I'm participating in currently is the Down Cellar Studios podcast, and it is the Pigskin Party. And the Pigskin Party runs from September 4th to February 9th, 2026. So September 4th, 2025 to February 9th, 2026. And your projects have to be started and finished within that time range, and anything counts. They have other special challenges that you can do, but all of your projects will count to get you and your team some points for this great party. It's a party during all of football season. And coming up soon is the 2025 gift along, where a lot of independent designers get together. They offer their patterns for a discounted price for a limited time, and we all get together and we just support each other. And I'm one of those participating designers. So it's called the Indie Gift Along, and it's just a lot of fun. So look forward to more about that coming up, because it actually starts later this week. So let's move on to my patterns. I sell patterns on Ravelry as carried from fleece. And the only pattern that I've been working on lately is my mystery critter for 2026. I always do a spring mystery knit along, or make along, knit along and crochet along, because I make my mystery animals for both knitting and crochet patterns. So anybody can participate. You don't have to know how to do one or the other. You can do either. And it's just a lot of fun. I do a different animal every year. This is the 6th year that I've done it. So look forward to that. Okay, now let's move on to gardening. For gardening today, I wanted to show you my ZZ plant that has been hanging out on my living room table. It has very low light in there, which is fine for this plant, because look how well it's doing. It has these new shoots coming up with the pretty little leaves. So I'm really happy that it seems to be so happy. This one is the one that I got on clearance from Walmart, and it wasn't looking very good when I brought it home. Now it looks pretty lively and pretty happy. I never did put it into another pot like I said I was going to. This is the self-watering pot. But since it seems to be doing so well in this pot, I might just leave it in here. So we'll see. If it starts acting like it's not doing well, then I might change it to another pot. But until then, I'll just leave it where it is. It seems happy and healthy. So that's all that I have for you today. Until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.